So what can we, as writers, as creators, learn from the absolute giants who came before us? Well, today we're going to dive into the lives of four literary legends, all born in April. We're going to uncover those aha moments, the really crushing setbacks, and the hard-won wisdom that shaped their iconic careers. And we'll see what lessons we can take for our own work. You know, every great writing career, it starts with a spark. For the legendary children's author Beverly Cleary, it was this one simple question from a young reader in her library. Where are the books about kids like us? And that question, it didn't just launch her career. It basically kicked off a revolution in children's literature. Cleary's answer to that boy's question brings us to our very first and maybe most crucial lesson, the power of your authentic voice. Her entire career became this incredible masterclass in just looking at the world around you, at the so-called ordinary, and finding the extraordinary stories that are just waiting to be told. So what did she do? She filled her books with characters like Ramona Quimby and Henry Huggins. I mean, these weren't heroes on some epic quest. They were ordinary kids with real, heartfelt, and, let's be honest, often hilarious anxieties. At a time when kids' books were kind of moralistic or super fantastical, Cleary brought this radical idea to the page, emotional realism. For millions of young readers, it was the first time they truly saw themselves in a book. And this really gets to the heart of how she thought. She famously hated books that tried to teach kids some kind of lesson. Her goal wasn't to create better children. It was to reflect the messy, funny, and deeply human experience of just being one. She totally trusted her readers to find their own meaning in the real lives of her characters. But look, finding that voice, it's not always easy. In fact, a lot of the time, great art comes from great struggle. And for so many writers, the first and loudest critics, well, they can be the people closest to them. Can you even imagine hearing those words from your own mother? Beverly Cleary carried that soul-crushing criticism with her whole life, this constant feeling that she was never quite good enough. I mean, that is such a heavy burden for any creative person, and it just makes the authenticity she brought to her characters even more amazing. So, how'd that girl who was supposed to fade quickly actually do? Oh, she just sold over 91 million books. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. It's a staggering number, and it's this powerful proof that the most painful criticism doesn't have to be the end of your story. You can turn it into fuel. And Cleary wasn't alone in this. Another April-born legend, the one and only Terry Pratchett, was dismissed early on by his own primary school headmaster with these words. Oof. It's that classic story, right? Of potential just being completely overlooked by someone in charge. And the boy who would never amount to anything? He became Sir Terry Pratchett, knighted for his services to literature. I mean, talk about the ultimate comeback. It's such a powerful reminder for every single one of us. Do not let someone else's first chapter define your entire story. Now, while Cleary found truth in realism, Pratchett found it in fantasy. And this brings us to a really vital lesson about imagination. It's not just an escape from reality. It is an incredible tool for understanding it and for critiquing it. This quote is it's pure Pratchett. He totally got that fantasy wasn't some gentle escape. No, it was a tool, almost a weapon, a way of thinking that could challenge all our assumptions and shake up anyone who prefers the world to be simple and unquestioned. So how did he do it? His primary tool was what we call the secondary world. His famous Discworld, the flat planet on the back of a giant space turtle. It wasn't just some quirky setting. Think of it more like a satirical funhouse mirror. By twisting and distorting our world, he could reflect its truths, its flaws, and all its absurdities with hilarious and sometimes devastating clarity. And please, don't mistake his humor for a lack of substance. Pratchett's work is the subject of serious academic study. You have scholars all over the world analyzing how he masterfully used a world of wizards and trolls to dissect the most complex issues of our own society. I mean, just look at the stuff he was tackling in Discworld. Conflicts between trolls and dwarves? That became a searing commentary on racism. The politics of witches and wizards? They reveal these deep truths about feminism and social class. He took on the biggest topics, religion, power, faith, and he made them accessible, funny, and deeply, deeply thought-provoking. And, whether you're writing about a wizard on a giant turtle or a child in 1930s Alabama, the goal is exactly the same. Our next author, Harper Lee, she just captured this perfectly. Her famous words are this incredible reminder that the core of all great writing is this profound act of empathy. the ability to climb inside someone else's skin and see the world through their eyes. This right here gets to the absolute heart of a writer's work. Empathy isn't just a feeling, it's an active, creative force. It's moral imagination in action. This is the engine that drives all compelling stories, allowing us to build worlds and create characters that feel true, no matter how different they are from us. Okay, so what does all this mean for us, for our own writing journey? Let's try and distill these incredible lessons into a clear set of principles you can actually use. All right, here's the framework boiled right down. From Beverly Cleary, we get write with authenticity. From Terry Pratchett, question everything. From Harper Lee, lead with empathy. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important lesson of all, courtesy of the monumental Maya Angelou. You have to endure with resilience. Because let's be real, the writer's journey is going to test you. You're going to face critics, you're going to face rejection, you're going to face that voice of self-doubt in your own head. This final lesson is all about what you do when you're under that pressure. This is it. This is the writer's anthem. After a life of unimaginable hardship and struggle, Maya Angelou gave us these words. And they aren't just a line from a poem, right? They are the unbreakable spirit of a creator forged in fire. It's a declaration of dignity, of endurance, and of the absolute refusal to be silenced. And so, this brings everything right back to you. We've seen the lessons. Write with authenticity, question everything, lead with empathy, and endure with resilience. These legends, they've faced down their critics, their fears, and their own self-doubt to change the world with their words. So the only question left is the one on your screen. What's your story to tell?